All right, welcome back. So I got a video I want to talk to you guys today going through something that I think is really important, and this statistic is actually a big part of why I wanted to do this video. This is 10%, okay? 10% of taxpayers in the United States have a Roth IRA according to the Tax Policy Center. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, we're going to talk about that today, so go ahead and give a thumbs up for this video. This is talking about stuff for you for really retirement. If you're a little younger, this can help you out even more, but no matter what age you are, I at least think it'd be worth looking into this. And if you haven't thought about putting money away for retirement, I encourage you to do so, because if all goes well in life, you're going to have a long, happy life, and part of it being happy is having enough money to live on. So I'd like to see this number of 10% a lot higher. So let's talk about what this is, the Roth IRA. If you've never heard of this, I'm going to try to approach this from the perspective of a beginner. I'm not going to be able to cover every single aspect of it, but I want to share what I can with you, okay? So here's just a short description of the Roth IRA, and the IRA part stands for Individual Retirement Account. Okay, that's just the name of the account. The IRA, the Roth IRA, it is not a stock, it's not a bond, it's not a cryptocurrency, anything like that. That's just the name of the account. Now, within this account, you can buy stocks, right? You can buy just about anything you want, or you can invest in just about anything you want, but that's just the name of the account, okay? So it talks about qualified withdrawals, this tax-free portion here. We'll talk about this a little bit more in just a sec. Established in 97. I actually didn't even realize it was that young. I thought it had been around a lot longer than that. But here's what you really need to know about the Roth IRA and why it's so popular compared to a traditional IRA, okay? They're both individual retirement accounts. One is called Roth, one is called traditional, and they're different here. You're going to see in this paragraph, okay? So they are similar to each other. The Roth is similar to the traditional, but the biggest difference is how they are taxed, okay? So the Roth IRA is one where you put money in every single year into this account, and in the account you choose what you want to invest in, okay? So let's just say you are going to invest in stocks, all right? There's a limit to how much you can put in every year into the Roth, and when you put money in there, you're going to put in money in the Roth IRA after tax dollars. So say you made 50 grand or whatever that year for taxes. After you pay your taxes, the money you're going to be putting into the Roth IRA is money you've actually paid taxes on, okay? Where the traditional IRA is pretty much the opposite. Of the traditional IRA, whatever money you put into the traditional, you get a tax deduction for that money. So right now, the law says you can put in $6,000 a year in the Roth IRA. I almost said 600,000. $6,000 a year in a Roth IRA is what you can invest, or in an IRA, okay, Roth or traditional. So if it's a traditional IRA and say you did make 50 grand, you can deduct that 6 grand. Now you're going to get taxed on 44. If it's a Roth IRA, you're going to get taxed on 50 grand, but you're still putting 6 grand in there, okay? The difference is with the traditional, you get your tax break up front. With the Roth, they give you the tax break later. So all the money you make off your investments in the Roth IRA, you do not pay taxes on. So let me go here and show you guys this compound interest calculator. And I'll put links for a whole bunch of this stuff down below, guys, if you want to look more into it. Okay, so let's say we're going to do this here. So your initial investment is zero. All right, let's just say you're 30 years old. Your initial investment is zero. I encourage you to start investing before 30, definitely, but whatever age you're at, you can adjust the numbers to fit your scenario here. Your monthly contribution, I put $500 here a month because the cap, the most you can put in your IRA right now is $6,000 per year. 6,000 divided by 12 is $500 a month. Every few years, the government does increase the amount you can put in, okay? So understand, it seems to be about every 3 years or so. They increase it by about $500. But let's just say for the next 30 years of your life, from 30 to 60, you're going to put away $500 a month, okay? That's a little over $100 a week, all right? So somewhere 16, 17 something dollars a day in that ballpark. And your estimated interest rate is going to be 10%, okay? Again, we're buying stocks with this. So let's say you put it in the stock market. Say you bought just like an index fund, all right? And you want to get a whole bunch of different stocks. So we got the number 10% really from just doing a simple search. Okay, what is the average stock market return, right? Historically, 10% annually before inflation, right? Another one here, this was a NerdWallet. Another one here comes from the Balance. Typically, it's about the same. Since 1926, so almost 100 years now, it's been about 10%, okay? Another one here from Investopedia. From 1926 to 2018, about 10% to 11%, okay? This also breaks down a little further. Since adopting the 500 stocks into the index, it says here about 8%, but still we're just going to go with 10%, okay? So 10% interest rate, 500 a month for 30 years. Okay, I've already done the math on this. It does compound annually. In 30 years, you will have almost $1 million. All right, 986,000. And this is only if you put in 6,000 a year. Remember, every few years I said the government allows you to put in more. So the more you put in, the more it's going to be able to grow. So every few years they keep increasing the amount. If you max it out every year, you will have over $1 million. Now what the chart shows here, this blue line is how much you put in every year. So see here it's 0, and then 6,000, then 12,000, and then 24,000, then 30,000. So every year you're putting in $6,000. So the blue line just gradually increases. So over 30 years, you're going to put in $180,000. But the red line is if you get an average of 10% return every year, and this is the average, okay? Some years you may get 12, 13, other years you may get 7 or 8 or 9. So, this is not going to be like some smooth graph like this for the red line. But over time, that's going to average out. That's what you're looking at. So you look at your red line, it's 0, right? Then you put in 6,000 the first year. You get 10%. Now you're at 12,600. You get 10% again. You're at almost 20,000. You get 10% again, almost 28,000. Now 10% again, over kind of close to 37,000. Now you have over 46, right? And the red line just keeps going up and up and up and up and up because your interest goes right back into your investment and you earn interest on your interest. You can set it up that way. So any interest money you earn goes right back in, and now you earn more interest on the interest you've already earned, and it keeps growing. It keeps snowballing. Now the cool part, if this is the Roth IRA, so all this money from the 986 that you earned, 986,000 down to 180,000, so all that difference of what? $806,000, that is tax-free in a Roth IRA. If it's a Roth, okay, you get $806,000 tax-free in 30 years. So if it's a traditional, then it's going to be the opposite. In the traditional, the tax break, the $180,000 you put in over 30 years, you got to deduct that off your taxes every year for 30 years. But now when you get your $806,000, you're going to pay taxes on that, whatever tax rates are at the time. And that's the other thing, is tax rates go up and down over time. So, none of us know what taxes are going to be in 30 years. But if they're going to be higher and you think you're going to wind up paying a lot more in that regard, I would generally recommend for people to go ahead and do the Roth. That's what I have as a Roth IRA. I've had it for years. I love it. I think it's great for the majority of people for investing, even if especially if they don't want to get really into the nitty-gritty details and that kind of thing. So understand that this is, a good way for people, even if you're not big into stock market, that kind of thing. You can put in an index fund. There's a whole bunch of index funds you can do on Vanguard or Fidelity or whatever the case is. This is not like some full-on investing lesson here today, but I really just want to share this with you and show this to you so that you can get an idea of how this works and start planning for your future, for yourself and anybody else that you are taking care of, or anybody else that you may want to leave money behind to, or any organization, whatever the case is, towards the end of your life. But you could have, just being steady with this, over $1 million in 30 years. Just steadily investing, setting some money aside every single month. This is the math right here. You can play with these numbers up here, change the interest rate, change the amount every month, or whatever the case is, how many years, all that kind of stuff. You can play around with this. The link will be down below. I really just want to share this with you. If you're not big into this, please just research this. If I can just plant a little seed in your head and you begin to research this more on your own and start engaging, I will be happy with that. So thanks for being so awesome. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you guys again soon.